John, watching Free Speech TV in Cumberland, Maryland. Hey, John, what's on your mind today?
Hey, how are you today, Tom?
I am great, but I'll get better. How about you?
By the way, that moniker is brilliant, Chuck Toad.
Oh,
I watch
that
Wallace every afternoon. I love her.
Yeah.
And as soon as Toad comes on, I change the channel.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that again. I disagree with the idea of making fun of people's names and stuff like that, and it just came out. It's like,
well, forgive me for picking up on it.
I'm sorry.
What I've called about is that I'm a progressive Democrat. I was born in 1950. I am an advocate of a democratic socialism. But we progressives need to adopt a view of what I call realpolitik in the 2020 elections. We don't need to nominate a lightning rod candidate that will turn out a red wave of Republicans. Obama proved that a savior for president becomes powerless, once he can't govern, because there's been a big turnout and the Republicans fill up those seats in Congress, with people who won't budge. So I'm going to recommend something that may sound, a little off, and you can think about it, and maybe your viewers can think about it, but I think our ideal candidate for president would probably be a ticket that looks like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris or Beto and Kamala, because neither one of these guys, none of those candidates are going to be called socialists. They seem to have clean backgrounds. Unfortunately, Elizabeth Warren is cooked. When they found that application of hers, where she put down that she was Native American, that's not going away. She has been smeared. And then, you've got people like Kirsten Gillibrand, who they're going to call a flip-flopper. And, it just goes on and on and on. So if we don't take a realpolitik view about our presidential candidate and work on the Congress, then we're going to have a situation, even if we get into the White House, we're not going to be able to govern. Yeah.
I think that, speaking of baggage, I think Joe Biden has every bit as much baggage, and in fact, a hell of a lot more baggage than Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, the Native American thing, that is going to be a tough one for her to climb over, but I think, she could. But Joe Biden, I mean, he was the guy who badgered Anita Hill in those hearings. He's the guy who if he didn't write it, co-sponsored the bankruptcy bill that made it illegal for young people to discharge their student loans in bankruptcy. Joe Biden's got some serious problems that he's got to confront. And
yeah, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of those things in his past. Yeah. But I just know that, he seems like a good-hearted guy.
Yeah.
That's what he appears to be.
I think you might be right about Beto, but then, there's a lot of people who are looking at Beto with his, I'm traveling around the country, I'm kind of in a funk, I don't know what I'm doing, and it seems like, okay, we've got a young guy here who's still trying to figure out who he is and what the world is, and this guy's not ready to be president. I mean, that's very much the sense that I've gotten from reading a few profiles of him recently. And then you combine that with the fact that when he was in Congress, the 6 years he was in Congress, he was he refused to be part of the progressive coalition. He was right there with Joe Biden, I guess you could say. And I just don't think that
non-lightning rod ticket.
I don't think that that's going to turn out the Democratic base. I mean, maybe putting Kamala Harris on that ticket or putting her at the top of the ticket would do it. But Kamala Harris herself has some problems, with her criminal justice background. Although she's done a very, very good job of speaking to that and pushing back on it. But at the end of the day, John, it's going to be up to the Democratic electorate. And I'm not telling people how to vote. I'm just trying to lay out what's going on. John, thank you for the call.